Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the 15-Minute Time Limit Podcast. Just some things that have been burning on in my head I'm going to be talking about today, and a better way to get them off my mind than to record them and put them out there on the internet for everyone to hear. To start things off, let's get straight to it. Talk about the 25th anniversary episode of Raw hitting the airwaves tomorrow night, live from New York City. 2 locations, the Manhattan Ballroom and the Barclays Center. Should be an entertaining show. I don't really know. I guess they're going to do all the hokey, bring out the old timers for a few funny skits here and there, but I think the big highlight of the night will be setting up the John Cena versus The Undertaker matchup at WrestleMania. Something that I think, as a wrestling fan, we've all been wanting to see for quite some time. I think, and I guarantee you, that'll be the highlight of the show and the big takeaway. The Undertaker gets one more match, even though I necessarily probably would have just liked for him to end it last year the way he lost to Roman Reigns in that whole spiel. He puts his coat in the ring and his gear there, and he walks out. What better way do you want to end your career? I don't know what they'll have in store this year. If this is this is purely 98% speculation, but I'm pretty sure they're just going to set up this Taker versus Cena match, and I just don't know how you end it now again. Like, does Taker go over Cena? Does Cena beat Taker and Taker loses 2 WrestleMania matches in a row? I don't know. It's a possibility. I don't know what they have in store. It'll be interesting to see, but Taker didn't really have the best match last year because his body's giving out. He's in his 50s. So let's see what he has in store physically in the ring. It probably won't be on anyone's match of the year list at the end of 2018, that's for sure. But hopefully it's a half-decent match, and I hope he doesn't break anything in the ring. He's a legend. I don't want him to keep going anymore after this. Let's just hope it's just half-decent and he ends on a high note, I guess, to make up for last year's kind of botchy Roman Reigns matchup. But, the guy's in his 50s. He's nearing the end, if not already should have stopped a few years ago. But let's just hope it's entertaining, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? So that'll be my big takeaway from Raw 25 is the Taker Cena setup. It's also the go home for Royal Rumble, and I think my go-to guy to win this year's Royal Rumble, call me crazy, but it's Dolph Ziggler. The current storyline they have him in right now kind of sets it up for him to be the perfect candidate to win the Royal Rumble. He dropped the U.S. title, just abandoned it in the middle of the ring. He wants that bigger moment, that bigger belt, and I think he can do it. Yeah, they got to give him the ball, and he can run with it. He's a talented performer in the ring. He's great on the mic. He's very athletic. He's got the look. He's the AJ Styles. He's the WWE version of AJ Styles before AJ Styles came to the WWE, and AJ Styles is 2-time WWE champ. And I think Dolph can be a respectable candidate to take the strap off AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Pending AJ Styles is still champ then, I think AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler for the belt would be a good match at Mania. Dolph, he's been around for a while and he deserves his moment, so I think this is the perfect opportunity for Dolph Ziggler to get that one Royal Rumble win in his career and his big WrestleMania moment that we've all, and especially himself, has wanted for many, many years. So this, hopefully this can be his year, There's a lot of legends to look forward to seeing. I mean, they have a whole roster of everyone showing up, so it'll be a great, full, entertaining Raw from beginning to end. The whole 3 hours, the whole shebang will finally be a good. Since they started doing the 3-hour Raws, this will be a good one to pay attention to the full way through. I mean, 3 hours every week is kind of hard to digest on one program. week in and week out, and it's hard to fill it with exciting and watchable content. But this Monday night's Raw will definitely be a good one. Mark my words. And after Raw, maybe sometime next before the Royal Rumble, I'll do a Royal Rumble prediction show. I guess I'll hope to do that. I mean, depending on my schedule and whatnot. So stay tuned for that as well. Appreciate you guys listening wherever you are, and hopefully we can keep growing this podcast. I mean, as you can probably tell, I haven't invested in a better microphone yet, so we're still doing things at a grassroots sort of level, and we hope to expand with a growing audience one day. Another thing I want to talk about, if you're a wrestling fan, obviously, if you're listening to this, you're a wrestling fan, or else there's no other real point to listen. But the NWA, Billy Corgan's NWA, I've been following along with their YouTube videos, the 10 Pounds of Gold, and following Tim Storm and Nick Aldis and Josephus, their top heels, very modern-esque. Waylon Mercy, if you remember him, he's kind of a Bray Wyatt's a kind of modern take on that character, and Josephus is a kind of I don't know if modern take on Bray Wyatt's the way I want to word that, but he's a more realistic version of the Bray Wyatt character. I will say that Bray Wyatt's character is, I go up and down with it. I mean, I don't need the the graphics during a WrestleMania match on the mat like that. You lose me at that. Like, you can be a modernly creepy cult leader kind of character without the CGI. Like when he was feuding with Finn Balor and they had that segment where he was turning into Sister Abigail. Like, I don't really believe that is really happening, and they lost. They didn't fully lose me on that Bray Wyatt character when that sort of stuff happens, but it is kind of hokey and it has no place. It just makes everything look pretty cheesy with the character and the production. And WWE's production is 1,000 times better today than it was in the Attitude Era. But from what I see from this Josephus character that the NWA has got, hopefully they just keep it a realistic version of culty kind of something that you would be able to follow along if you were a Josephus follower. Just keep it realistic, please just keep it realistic. And I bring up the NWA and their 10 Pounds of Gold series because they're starting over again, and it's good. And if you want to, in the element of storytelling, and the reason why pro wrestling is good is watch this from the beginning along with me, please. It's the beginning of a new story and a new chapter in the NWA. And their former champion Tim Storm was the highlight of their first bunch of episodes of the 10 Pounds of Gold series on YouTube. Watch that. He's a relatable guy. He's been wrestling for 20, 30 years. He's in his 50s as well, kind of like The Undertaker. He's still in great shape. He can still go. They make their hero very relatable and very likable. And that's the element of the art of storytelling of professional wrestling that is kind of lost, I think, in WWE's professional wrestling landscape. And I think the NWA, and with their web series and how they're putting it together, it works for me as a fan. It works for me. It's nice to follow. You're not sitting there for 2 hours, weekly, just watching matches and whatnot. Hopefully they expand to that. Yes, but in the beginning, right now, their videos, they're working for me. They're fun to watch. The empty arena match, I want to bring that up. I'm running out of, I got 5 minutes. Their empty arena match, they did in actually the Impact Zone. That was Tim Storm, the 53-year-old school teacher, took some heavy bumps near the end of that match. He dominated that match from the opening bell, but he took a brutal bump at the end, and hopefully he's okay physically. But it was a good match to watch. I mean, it was really, Tim Storm really dominated that match, but at the end, Josephus, the younger competitor, won and got over, and that it was good from from beginning to end. And I encourage all of you wrestling fans to watch it, give it a chance, follow along with them, and follow along with me, following along with them. So it's good, and it's really, if you don't, you will appreciate the storytelling of the NWA and what they're doing. I believe it's, as I said, it's lost with WWE now, but they're bringing it back. It's more traditional, and it's a modernly traditional take on what wrestling used to be and what it could still be. That's my take on that. Tim Storm, an excellent guy, stand-up dude, school teacher by day, professional wrestler by night, and former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Like, the guy's living a life, and a pretty good one at that. And he's still a great wrestler. You know, it's unfortunate for guys like that. You know, he reached the peak at the end, and you know, it happens for some dudes. Like, look at Diamond Dallas Page. He only started wrestling when he was well into his 30s, and you hear his story. People told him not to do it, and he did it. And look what happened in his short career. He became WCW champion and spent a brief time in the WWE, and he was there near the end of his career, or at the end of his career. He was in WWE. And, you know, a guy like Tim Storm, I never heard of him until, honestly, the NWA. I started following along with Billy Corgan's version of the NWA. Honestly, did not hear about the guy. But, you know, he's earned my respect as a human being, and as a fan, I like him. I'll root for him. If the NWA ever comes my way, and if he's still going, I wouldn't mind, you know, buying a Tim Storm t-shirt. So that's my take on that. Please follow. It's good stuff. You'll appreciate their version of pro wrestling. And I'm nearing the end. I think I've gotten everything off my chest that I wanted to talk about in this episode, Raw 25, and there'll be a prediction show coming at some point either on the weekend or hopefully during the week. I can squeeze one out, but I really wanted to talk about the Tim Storm NWA stuff personally. For me, I don't think they'll get their due. NWA, they'll get back to where they should be as at least the number 2 professional wrestling alternative to WWE. They'll get back there. Just follow along, because I'm telling you now, they're starting small, but they're thinking big, and that's the way to do it. And it's good stuff. Follow along with them. Follow along with my podcast. Follow me on Twitter. Follow the Facebook page, or like the Facebook page. Follow along on Twitter. Listen to the podcast, and stay tuned for new and exciting stuff. Thanks for listening. Email me. Sound like a broken record. Follow on Twitter. I'm just watching the clock, so I feel rushed. So thanks for listening, and take care, guys. We'll see you for our next episode. Thank you so much.